Hi friends, I wonder if I'm the only one who feels like the world's gone completely mad. Geophysicists have reached a troubling conclusion. Tropical cyclones which bring destructive rains and floodings may be linked to subsequent earthquakes. What used to seem like coincidence is now increasingly supported by evidence. Scientists led by Szymon Wdowski of the University of Miami analyzed data from the past 50 years and discovered an alarming pattern. Powerful typhoons and hurricanes are often followed by seismic shocks. The interval between disasters rarely exceeded 4 years, and in some cases was only a matter of months. For example, after Typhoon Flossie in 1969, Taiwan experienced a magnitude 6.2 earthquakes in 1972. Typhoon Herb in 1996 preceded two major earthquakes in 1998 and 1999. Typhoon Morakot in 2009 was followed by earthquakes after the same 1 year in 2010. In Haiti, the 2010 catastrophe that claimed more than 200,000 lives struck just a year and a half after prolonged hurricanes and drenches the island for weeks. These correlations are not accidental. Rains from tropical cyclones seep deep into the ground, altering pressure in the Earth's crust, and scientists believe can trigger faults and tectonic shifts. In other words, in places where people have barely recovered from one natural blow, a second, often even more devastating, may follow. This is especially unsettling in the context of Japan. The Great East Japan earthquakes of March 11, 2011, and the subsequent tsunami claimed over 15,000 lives, with thousands still missing. Researchers emphasize that the statistics will continue to grow as data from the Philippines and Japan are further analyzed. But even now, one thing is clear. Humanity lives in a fragile world where one natural force can awaken another one. These findings force us to reconsider our vulnerability. It's crucial not only to predict earthquakes and monitor typhoons, but also to remember that every new weather forecast may carry an ominous hint of deeper danger. In Atlanta, Georgia, a scene unfolded that looked more like a parody of an action movie than a real robbery. An enterprising but clearly not very bright man decided to make some easy money and paid a visit to a nail salon. Apparently, he imagined that a room full of women with perfectly polished nails would be an easy prey. The man walked in, stuck his hand into a bag to mimic a weapon, and shouted, demanding for everyone to get on the floor and hand over the money. It sounded like a stand stick up scenario, but absolutely no one played along. The customers remained seated in their chairs, looking as if the would-be robber was merely an overly pushed nail technician rather than a threat to their lives. The staff didn't panic either. They looked more like they were evaluating which shade of polish was missing from the shelf. Even the salon owner, who later admitted he was trembling inside, maintained the outwardly calm demeanor so as not to alarm the ladies or ruin any manicures. In the end, our hero stood there, fumed for a bit, realized his dramatic performance wasn't going to win any applause, and retreated to his car empty-handed. Now the police are searching for him, but he seems far more deserving of an award for worst performance of the year. After all, it takes a special kind of talent for an attempted armed robbery to end up in collective indifference and in thoroughly deflated ego. A semi-comical incident in Mexican politics took place in 2011. The Federal Court of Mexico decided that the fate of the mayoral election in the capital of Michoacan state, the city of Morelia, would be determined not by ballots, but by underwear. And not just any underwear, but boxing shorts. On November 12, 2011, famous Mexican boxer Manuel Marquez stepped into the arena in Las Vegas wearing shorts decorated with the logo of the opposition Institutional Revolutionary Party. And, as it turned out, that piece of fabric carried more weight than thousands of voters' ballots. The court ruled out advertising on somebody's backside constituted political campaigning, and therefore the election could be safely annulled. The victorious candidate from the Institutional Revolutionary Party, Wilfredo Lázaro, was naturally not delighted. His party claimed it had nothing to do with the shorts, insisting that a boxer chooses his own attire, be it leopard print or promotional branding. Marcus himself said he hadn't even noticed the design of his trunks, as he was preoccupied with the minor detail his bout against Filipino Manny Pascual, which he lost, by the way. But it seems the biggest knockout of the evening was not the Filipinos' right hand, but the logo on the Mexican's short. The complaint was filled by losing candidate Marco Cortes of the ruling National Action Party. Residents had to return to the polls within 150 days. Well, democracy demands sacrifices, especially when those sacrifices are the residents forced to suffer through a second round because of someone else's underwear. Let's talk about a workday turning into a crime series with a dash of absurdity. At the Wisconsin Exhibition Center, 35-year-old Joseph Ralph Ross apparently decided that office conflicts are best settled with super glue. What exactly his unnamed female co-worker did to drive him to such sticky fury remains a mystery. But his plan for revenge was uniquely twisted. The woman began noticing that her drink smelled strangely chemical and left an unpleasant aftertaste of the apocalypse. Her suspicions grew until she decided to play detective. She hid a camera under her monitor, and bingo! The camera caught Joseph pouring super glue into her soda can while she was away. If he was aiming for the title of the most creative saboteur of the year, the trophy is practically his. Police called by the victim quickly found evidence, crumpled gloves and a tube of glue in the trash next to suspect's desk. Like a step-by-step guide titled How to Get Arrested in 3 Moves. What Joseph hoped to accomplish remains unclear. Did he want his co-worker permanently glued to her workstation? Or was he aiming for a soda with eternal stickness? God knows. Now Joseph will have to explain his sticky fantasies in court. One thing is certain. Even the dullest offices can turn into places where boredom lasts only until the first suspicious can of soda. What do you think about it? I am really curious to hear your thoughts, my friends. Share them down in the comments. I'll be reading them all.